What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. If you've been into prepping for any number of years, you've probably heard about the Golden Horde theory. And the theory was that when the economy collapsed, that the people from the cities, the urban areas, would all flood out into the country to try to find food. And, the principle is, it sounds like it would be sound. However, when you look at history and economic collapse, economic depressions and recessions, it's actually the opposite that happens. Usually, it's the people who are living in the rural areas moving to the urban areas, to the suburban areas to find work, to find jobs. That happened during the Great Depression. It happens every time there's an economic downturn. A lot of people from the rural areas will go to those urban areas to try to find work. But there is going to be a Golden Horde. We're seeing the Golden Horde happen right now, and it's at the southern border. The southern border is pretty much wide open, and we have, from what I've read, over 100,000 people coming across the border illegally into the United States every month. And those people are being bussed out, flown out, and taken out of that location and sent to different locations across the United States. And it's a non-stop flood. And Joe Biden has said that by, I forgot what year he said it was, but he gave a year, and he said that by that time, America, United States, the white population would be the minority. And he said that would be a good thing. Now, I don't have anything against immigration if they come over legally, if they have something to actually offer. However, most of the people coming across the border now don't really have anything to offer. It's just not being cruel. It's just the facts of the matter. From what I read, over 41% of people coming across the border can't read. They're illiterate. They can't speak English. They can't read. They have no job skills. They're going to come over and be, a full-on dependent. And it's on purpose. The Democrats that are in office and the Republicans aren't trying to do anything about it. They're giving lip service, and that's about it. They're not really trying to do anything about it. The governors, they give lip service. They say they're going to do this, that, and do this a little bit to make it look like they're trying to do something, but they really aren't. The Senate, the Congress aren't really doing anything. The mayors, no one's really doing nothing. Letting it all come over. They put up a pretend fight, like I said before in a video here. It's a pretend WWE type wrestling match where the winner's already predetermined. But these people coming over don't have nothing to offer as far as job skills, as far as education, as far as technical skills, science, medical, nothing like that. They're just coming over to flood the country, and it's on purpose. They want to import a new voter base, is what it boils down to. Plus, they want to actually crash the United States and bring the United States down to, a third world country so they can step in and bring in their new communist socialist agenda. Now, guys, you might or might not have heard about the Cloud and Piven strategy, but this article lays it out pretty well. Cloud and Piven strategy. What the heck is a Cloud and Piven, and what does it have to do with the far left? Richard Cloward and his batshit crazy wife, Frances Piven, were sociologists and Democrat socialists that developed a political strategy in 1966, referred to as the Cloud and Piven strategy. In short, the Cloud and Piven strategy calls for overloading the U.S. public welfare system in order to precipitate a crisis that would lead to a replacement of the welfare system with the guaranteed annual income, and thus an end to poverty. It's always their stated goals is the end of poverty, the end of racism, the end of suffering. However, their policies actually bring these things on or make these things actually worse. Ironically, just 1 year earlier, Paul Harvey, a conservative broadcaster, aired some comments, a concept that is now reality, titled "If I Were the Devil." We'll play that video here in just a few minutes, guys. First proposed in 1966 and named after Columbia University, sociologist Richard Andrew Cloward and his wife, Frances Fox Piven, both longtime members of the Democratic Socialists of America, where Piven today has an honorary chair. The Cloward-Piven strategy seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with the flood of impossible demands, thus pushing society into crisis and economic collapse. That's what they're doing right now, guys. What I was telling you in other videos and have been for the last few years. They're crashing it on purpose. They're causing economic collapse on purpose because they know if it can all come tumbling down, that the people will be suffering. The people will beg for them to come in and save us. And then they can implement all their agenda. Get rid of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, completely transform America into this new communist utopia that they envision. And they will tell you that it's all for your benefit, it's all for the good, it's all for humanity, it's to prevent suffering, poverty, hunger. It's all for the good of the people. And in reality, it is about bringing the country down to give them more total dominant power over every aspect of our lives. The archers also asserted that the crisis of the welfare state would ignite a political and financial crisis that would rock the economy. Poor people would rise in revolt, which is what they want. And C, only then would the rest of society accept their demands. The Cloward-Piven article called for aggressive organizers to use demonstrations to create a climate of militancy. Then the authors predicted the following would happen. Politicians, intimidated by threats of black violence, would appeal to the federal government for help. And right now, it's not really black violence. It is a lot of white people, and they're doing the same thing, calling for this because they've been brainwashed in college by the mainstream media to be socialist, to think that socialism, communism is a good thing. And they actually think that they're, in their mind, that what they're doing is for the greater good, when what they're doing is actually working for the people who are in power, like George Soros, that are actually backing these efforts to bring the country down. Carefully orchestrated media campaigns carried out by friendly left-wing journalists would float the idea of a federal program of income redistribution, take from everyone else and give to others, in the form of a guaranteed living income for all, working and non-working people alike. So if you can earn an income by not working or working, which would you choose? If you could lay back all day and take it easy, do what you want, have all your time for yourself, and still get an income, or you could go to work and get the same income, what would you do? Local officials would clutch at this ideal like drowning men to a lifeline. They would apply pressure on Washington to implement it, and Washington wants to implement it right now. With every major city erupting into chaos, Washington would have to act. The Cloward-Piven strategy was an example of what are commonly called Trojan horse initiatives, mass movements whose outward purpose seems to be providing material help to the downtrodden, but whose real objective is to draft poor people into service as revolutionary foot soldiers. To mobilize poor people in mass to an effort to overwhelm government agencies with floods of demands beyond the capacity of those agencies to meet. Cloward-Piven calculated that the flood of demands that they were recommending would break the budget, jam the bureaucratic gears into gridlock, and bring the system crashing down. Fear, turmoil, violence, and economic collapse would accompany such a breakdown, providing perfect conditions for fostering radical change. And that's what we're seeing right now, guys, with the at the southern border. That's the plan to crash the economy, to crash the country, so they can bring in socialism, communism, and, you know, like I said at the first of the video, we've all been worried about people coming from the cities to the country to find food. What we should be worried about is this open border, because as the economy crashes around the world, it's a worldwide economic collapse. Different countries are experiencing different stages of economic collapse right now. As it gets worse, as the food shortages get worse, they're going to affect, you know, third world countries in South America, second world countries in South America. And the worse it gets, they're going to look at the United States as being the land of opportunity still. And they're going to come even more. They're coming in mass now. Like I said, over 100,000 every month, I think it is, are coming now. When starvation sets in, that's going to increase tenfold. They're going to flood the country, and it's wide open. And they want it to be wide open because they're trying to crash the system. So that is the golden horde that's going to affect preppers. It's going to affect everyone. It's going to affect the country. That's the golden horde that we're going to be seeing, guys. And there's really no easy answer to it. I don't really know a plan to stop that because our political leaders refuse to do so. They don't want to do so because they're doing this on purpose. They're implementing this cloud and pivot strategy on purpose to crash the country. Not good, guys. Not good at all. All you can do is try to get away from that border as far as you can, because that's where they're coming in at. However, unfortunately, you know, they're loading these people up and taking them to everywhere in the United States and dropping them off, because they're trying to crash different states, especially conservative states. It's a situation, guys. All you can do is try to be as self-reliant as you can, get away from the border as much as you can, try to strategically relocate if you have to. If you can't, make do the best you can where you are with what you have. If you thought the video was entertaining, useful, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know your comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and the Creekmore out here, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.